안녕하십니까. 오늘 이 온라인 행사에 함께 해주신 모든 분들께 진심으로 환영의 말씀을 드립니다. 저는 로스앤젤레스시 공공사업위원회 의장 스티브 강입니다. 먼저 이번 행사를 준비해주신 기타의 김한수 회장님, 임원진 여러분, 정정아 상무국장님, 그리고 자넷 버트 고문님께 깊은 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 무엇보다도 우리 한인 비즈니스 커뮤니티가 로스앤젤레스시 발전을 위해 보여주신 헌신과 참여에 진심으로 감사드립니다. 공공사업위원회는 시의 핵심 인프라를 책임지는 기관으로 도로, 인도, 위생, 엔지니어링, 건축, 그리고 각종 계약 업무 등 도시의 기반을 유지하고 발전시키는 중요한 역할을 하고 있습니다. 오늘 행사의 목적은 바로 교육과 기회입니다. 한인 기업인 여러분께서 로스앤젤레스시와 어떻게 협력하고 조달 과정에 참여할 수 있는지를 배우고 함께 준비할 수 있도록 오늘 온라인 세미나를 키타와 함께 준비하였습니다. 다가오는 2028년 올림픽과 패럴림픽 앞두고 시는 인프라 그리고 지역사회 개선을 위해 대규모 투자를 준비하고 있습니다. 이 과정에서 우리 한인 기업들이 적극적으로 참여하고 그 혜택을 함께 나누게 되기를 진심으로 바랍니다. 공공사업부의 목표는 분명합니다. 조달 과정을 더욱 투명하고 공정하게 만들어 다양한 기업들이 동등하게 참여할 수 있는 환경을 조성하는 것입니다. 오늘의 온라인 만남과 대화가 앞으로 더 강하고 포용적인 로스앤젤레스 지역사회를 만들어가는 소중한 출발점이 되기를 바랍니다. 다시 한번 참석해주신 모든 분들께 감사드리며 오늘 행사를 통해서 시 관계자들과 활발히 소통하시고 여러분의 비즈니스와 로스앤젤레스 시가 함께 성장하는 기회를 찾으시길 바랍니다. 그리고 내년부터 기타와 함께 이러한 조달 사업 시리즈를 론칭을 하려고 합니다. 오늘은 아주 베이직한 오버뷰를 전해드리기 위해서 준비를 하였고 내년에는 조금 더 디테일한 프레젠테이션으로 저희 이번 시리즈를 이어가도록 하겠습니다. 그러면 지금부터 공공사업위원회 산하 부서인 Bureau of Contract Administration의 Teresa and Melissa를 소개해 드리겠습니다. 그리고 질문은 이 두 분의 프레젠테이션을 끝나고 받도록 하겠습니다. 오늘은 이제 추후 프레젠테이션은 저희가 동시 통역을 준비하는데요. 일단 오늘은 밑에 캡션은 한국어로 제공이 되기 때문에 그것을 같이 팔로우해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. So, Teresa and Melissa, the stage is yours.
Thank you. My name is Teresa Jimenez. As President Chang indicated, I'm with the Bureau of Contract Administration, and we're going to share with you bits about the Procurement 101. In particular, I'll be sharing about RAMP LA. So next slide. There we go. Actually, we can go to the next slide now. Might as well. Okay, RAMP LA is also the Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement. So it is an innovative initiative hosted by the City of Los Angeles and is designed to house in one place solicitation opportunities for public and private organizations. The majority of procurement spending through the RAMP platform generates about over $10 billion in procurement opportunities. New public agencies and organizations are being added on an ongoing basis, making RAMP LA a valuable resource for vendors to learn about contract opportunities from numerous organizations in a single portal. So next slide. I'm going to talk today about searching for opportunities, leveraging data, and maximizing city programs. Next slide. Searching for opportunities. Next. All right. This is our landing page. You'll see at the top there you have some choices of fields to search. You'll have an opportunity with that green button next to it to log in or register. As you go through this search for bid opportunities, it's a quick search to look for programs or projects you might want to look at or bid as we go. And then we'll be talking about more about this later, but sometimes I'll have special announcements. In particular, this is Los Angeles 2028, Olympic related, and you'll see what's coming up. There's announcements coming. I think they may show bids as well. So to help you process. So next slide, please. And go ahead and next slide. All right. So searching for opportunities. What are the fields you need to know? So number one, opportunity. No titles or keywords. So keywords would be something like you maybe have a restaurant business, but you can also use other words, other synonyms like food, catering, caterer, meals, things like that. That would bring that you open up the opportunities for you to be able to review to see they might be appropriate for your business. I believe we can go to number two, organization. The next slide, please. Well, okay. Before we get to city departments, organizations rather, these are different departments that within the city that post in RAMP LA. We've got aging department. We've got airport projects. I'll go into, we've got police, rec and parks, general services, engineering, the zoo, water and power, controller's office. Okay, next. And then we also have regional partners, non-city departments that would also participate. So Los Angeles Unified School District, County Water, Cedars-Sinai and City of Hope medical facilities. We already mentioned LA 28, even the Dodgers. Okay, next, please. And then we have status of the bids as you look at them in the in RAMP LA. It might be open or amended, which means they're both currently available to bid. Bidder selected would be the department recommended for award, but it has not been awarded. So it's still available, but you can't bid on it. Response evaluation, the city turns on the bidding tool to use, withdrawn, so it's no longer available to bid. And then closed is it's beyond the due date, and awarded means it's already been awarded. Next. These are types of opportunities. Requests for bids, requests for proposals, requests for qualifications prequel, and requests for qualifications bench. So the RFBs would be looking to evaluate the bids, and we'd go to the lowest responsible bidder. RFPs are specific projects. RFQs, prequels, are pre-qualified, are for on-call as needed. And then the RFQ bench, the last one, is for, it's no money is guaranteed, but it's available. So next. All right. So let's quickly talk about the NAICS code. That's the fifth one. RAMP, it's an organizational tool. It's also used for notification criteria. And I'll go into NAICS, which are the North American Industry Classification System coding as we progress, because that becomes very important in how projects are defined and how you present your business. All right. Next. Okay, just some quick reminders. This was originally compiled by from staff. You want to access Ramp LA now to explore and try to understand how it operates. Like, for instance, what NAICS codes are most often required or requested. Looking at past contractors and the work they do, the bids they've presented, and the awards they've actually been given. You want to start early to bid to have time to request help if need be. So you will, that it goes for both, particular for the bidding, but you also want to be able to define yourself well. And if you need help in understanding, there are resources available. You especially don't want to wait to the end to bid deadline to begin compiling your bid. You want to set up a new account, or if you must, to consolidate multiple existing accounts. And if RAMP somehow looks familiar, it is the new Bobbin of the past. If you're haven't logged in, or you don't have one yet, make sure that you create an Angelino account. That's very important. And then there are many resources to use. There's existing programs, guides, webinars help you equip you with necessary tools to succeed. Those can be found in Ramp LA and then at the city website as well. And just a reminder to be patient with yourself as you're learning something new, and to be flexible, to take advantage of opportunities to self-identify your organization and the work you do in different ways that would give you the maximum number of responses. Next, please. So leveraging data on awarded opportunities. Next. Okay, that would include your contact information. Let it be consistent. The name and email of the contract administrator who's working on that particular project. You want to look to see who was awarded the contracts and for how much in the past, again, to keep yourself competitive. And again, the NAICS codes, looking at how other departments have used them and align your codes with the NAIC codes as well. We can go next. Look at prior meeting archives for information of how an attendee list of how other companies have handled that in the past, and then look for prior documentation to learn more about the scope of work, deliverables, and evaluation criteria. All right, next. Okay, maximizing city programs. There's the business inclusion program, the city requires that interested prime contractors, are aware of the program and comply with conducting outreach to subs and to reviewing subcontractor bid proposals in good faith. The local business program, this is important because you can get up to 12% of bid performance with when a prime is certified, or when a prime leads bid certified contractors. Next. Oh, now let's go back. There we go. Okay, thank you. Okay, proprietary departments. Just to be aware that LAWA, Department of Harbor, and DWP are post on Ramp LA, but they also have their own bid systems as well, as does GSD, which is a vendor supplier. They also have their own bid systems, primarily requests for qualifications. Next. It's my business profile. Again, NAICS. This will help you to include those codes, but you have up to 10 codes that you can associate with your account that will be readily available once people start accessing the code. So be sure that you carefully select and edit your top 10 codes. You want to submit LBC certification. We can go next, which is a local business certification. Let me mention this. This is the NAICS codes for the LA 28. There's creative media and production. There's advertising and marketing. There's events and live production. There's infrastructure and operations. You can see the codes that they're using. And that's how the codes are being defined and used. And you can see specifically how your company might match with those LA 28 codes. All right, thank you. Next now. All right, developing your business profile. You want to have your LB certifications listed there, and you also want to be able to submit and request recognition of existing certifications as well. Next. Okay. And then you're also able to add additional certifications that will be verified within the process. All right. And then next, selecting the appropriate certifications. So again, this may be something that you want to look at what others have used, what certifications you already have existing, do research on certification, and then ask questions if you need of the city to help you identify what you really need to include. Okay, and then next, please. All right, and then here you can see the certifications, how they're listed, and they're with instructions of how to download as well. So there's instructions along the way to help you update and put in the system exactly what is going to be required of you later on in the reviewing process. All right, next. Okay, we have many, many resources. You'll see here there's RAMP assistance directly. RAMP, there is RAMP resources from RAMP LA, and then you may ask questions of snow.lacity.org at RAMP LA. There's also where you would be able to combine multiple accounts if you have more than one RAMP account. And then there are others with Procurement LA/PACE, City of LA Contractor Development and Bonding Program, Assessing LA, and then LA Small Business Academy. I know I've gone over a lot, and there is a lot to pursue, but I wanted to give you just a brief overview and get you interested in pursuing working within the RAMP LA application. And thank you very much.
Thank you, Teresa. I guess it's my turn. Hi, my name is Melissa Savage. I am also with the Bureau of Contract Administration. I work with the certification section. So we're going to pick up from where Teresa kind of left off with some of that information a little bit further on. So here we go. So there are multiple types of certifications. One of the misnomers is that you get certified as a hairstylist or certified as a construction company. But our certification types have nothing to do with the type of work that you do, but by these classifications. So ownership-based, size-based, and location-based, and then we have some special proprietary certifications for the proprietary departments that Teresa already mentioned. So that would be LA World Airports, the port or harbor, and the Department of Water and Power. So there's a lot of certification types. Some of them we process within the city. You apply through us, we review your application, and you work with us. Other certifications are recognition. So they're issued by other agencies or organizations, but we also recognize them. So Teresa showed you a picture on Ramp of where you request certifications. There's usually a button that says recognition or application or apply. And that's the difference. Some have both buttons, some only have one button. So that will kind of gear which ones, you'll know which ones we use internal or process internally and which ones you would need to get from another agency and then ask. But do understand that our system, Ramp, does not communicate with other agencies. So if you have other certifications with other agencies and they expire, we're not going to know that you renewed them unless you request that to be put back on your account. So you will need to know, or you would need to let us know. So yeah, I'm only going to talk about a few of these, primarily the ones that we process, but this is the full scope of certifications that we work with. So ownership is the first one. The primary ones that we work with are the minority business enterprise and the women's business enterprise. And to be qualified for these, that person who you are acknowledging as your minority or woman owner has to be at least 51% owner of the business and control of the business. And what we mean by that is that they have to have whatever educational background, license, certification, etc., to run the company. You can't just bring in an outside person and make them 51% owner if they don't have any understanding, knowledge, or to run the company. The DBE and the ACDBE I will touch on for just a moment. I left them here because those are the two federal programs. It is the federal government that controls them. We are a certified processor of these certification types. This is one that is in a bit of flux with the current administration. They've changed it so that there are no more presumed disadvantaged groups. And they have changed the process for applying, and everybody who has one has to be recertified based on this new criteria. So they are still out there. If you have one, you will probably be told that you have to submit some new information at some point. I think most certifying agencies have put a hold on any new applications that are coming in. So if you do not have one, I would not recommend trying to apply for one right now. But they are still out there. So just so you know that they're there, and that is a federal program. So if you bid on a project that has federal funding, this certification could come into play. And then the other one is through the airport, and that's the Disabled Veteran Business Enterprise. Obviously, required documentation on disabled from the VA, most likely, about your disabled veteran status. The other one that's very, very popular is the location-based certification, our LBPP, Local Business Preference Program. So this came into play in 2021. There's 3 certification types. The first and the most important is the Local Business Enterprise, LBE. That is for businesses that are located in the county. There's 3 different ways to classify located. The most obvious is that you're headquartered here physically. The other 2 have to do with where your staff are employed. So if you have a big company that is not headquartered in Los Angeles County, but you have an office here and you have a lot of staff that work there, I believe it has to be 50 employees or 50% of your employees, depending on the size of your company, who work 60% of their time in that office. So if your company is not headquartered in Los Angeles, but you have offices here, you may still be eligible. So it's something to look at. Once you qualify for the LBE, you can also be considered for the local small business or local transitional employer. Those small, you have to have less than $6 million in gross receipts. And for local transitional means people who are coming out, they're considered transitional employees. So people who are coming out of prison, out of rehab, out of the foster care system. If you happen to have an employee who fits that criteria, it doesn't necessarily make you a transitional employer. You have to actively be recruiting for those types of employees or working with an organization that focuses on that, like Homeboy Industries or Chrysalis or Project 180, those types of organizations. So that would all come into play. LTE, I should also say, all of our certifications, you are required to be a for-profit business. Nonprofits are not eligible, with the exception of the LTE. So that is the one certification type that you might be eligible for as a nonprofit organization. There is some preference for these businesses when it comes to bidding on city contracts. It's not every business, and there's some variety to it, but basically if you bid on a city contract that is eligible for this preference, there's a range of percentages that could be, let's say it's 10%. So if you bid $100,000 on a bid on a contract, on our paperwork, we're going to say it looks like $90,000. You're going to look like a lower bidder. You'll still get paid the full amount, but we compare the numbers that way so that when we're looking at what the cost is, you get a little bit of a bump. You look like a lower bidder because you have this certification type. It's not across the board, and there are some nuances, but there can be a financial incentive to this program. There's a subcategory as well, the city business enterprise. You cannot apply for this separately. When we review you as an LBE, if it turns out your address is in the city of Los Angeles, you will also be getting that certification. Where to apply? As Teresa showed you on Ramp, you go into your profile, you click on the left-hand side on the certifications tab, and you kind of follow the instructions there on which certification, whether it's a recognition or an application. The local business preference program can only be applied for through Ramp. You have to have a Ramp account. The MBE and the WBE are still paper applications. So you would go to our website, print that out, fill it out, gather the paperwork. On the back of the application, it shows you what type of paperwork you need to present to us based on how your business is structured, whether it is an LLC or a sole proprietary or proprietorship, etc. So you would gather that paperwork and then you would mail it to us at our offices, and we will review it there. There are some organizations that have online certification for M and W that we recognize, but you can also find those on our website and see if you might already have one of those. The next section is upcoming events. So as everybody knows, there's a lot of large events coming to the city of Los Angeles. This is a timeline of them. So the first one is the World Cup, which is happening in 2026. After that, in February of 2027 is the Super Bowl. And then, as most people know, 2028 is the Olympics and Paralympic Games. So they are very close together, and they are kind of back to back. It doesn't feel that way, but it will once things start rolling. We have been working with these organizations as far as what they're looking for in businesses around Los Angeles. So FIFA is the one hosting the World Cup. They have a website. You can submit an interest card at losangelesfwc26.com. The website's there. These are the specific disciplines that they are looking for. And they have some criteria there on the left-hand side. You have to be the direct source of goods or services. You have to have been in an established workspace in the greater Los Angeles area since 2022. You are event ready and have capacity to work on these types of projects at this scope, and you have to be in good standing with the Secretary of State. If you meet those criteria and you fall into one of those disciplines, I highly recommend that you go to their website and you fill out an interest card, because that is how they find their vendors for these projects. The next up is the Super Bowl. Because it's a little further out, it is not as ready to go as FIFA is, but it's similar. So they do have a program called Business Connect. It is through the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission. And unfortunately for this year, it is already closed. However, it's the same people involved in FIFA and the Super Bowl. And so from what we have been told is if you're interested in the Super Bowl and you meet the criteria for FIFA, to please fill out an interest card on the FIFA site, because they are still there is some crossover. Business Connect will most likely run another program before the Super Bowl. So these are what they have been interested in the past. This could change because it's a new year, it's a new program. But in the past, they were looking at businesses that were 51%, just like we require, owned by minority, LGBT, disabled, or veteran, have a physical operation with LA County for 3 years, provide a product or service from the list of disciplines, be the direct source of those goods or services, and also be in good standing with the city or county, the city of Inglewood, and the state of California. So because of the location of the venue, the city of Inglewood comes into play as well. If you want more information about Business Connect, this is their website. Like I said, it's already closed for this year, but it's a good thing to keep an eye on because they may have opportunities again in the future. And then last but not least, LA28. LA28, as you saw on that screenshot at the beginning of our presentation, they have announcements currently listed on Ramp. They are using Ramp. They will most likely be using it for the opportunities as well. So those announcements that are there, they are looking for people who are interested in these opportunities. So they're kind of like the interest card that FIFA has set up. If it's one of the things that your company does, you can fill out that interest card or that form, and you'll be added to the pile so that when they start doing actual opportunities, they will know that you're already interested in bidding on certain things, depending on your NAICS codes, as she talked about, NAICS. Because LA28 is still even further out, it's 3 years away, they are, their disciplines are a little bit broader. They haven't kind of broken it down as much, but it will probably be similar to the other organizations, but these are the only ones that they have provided thus far. They're kind of broad. They have committed to a 75% spend, so 75% of their total applicable budget they have committed to spend on local businesses and 25% to small businesses. We still don't know what those numbers are as far as what it is. Is it $6 billion? Is it $9 billion? It kind of depends on what their total budget becomes once they get all their sponsors on board, but that is what they are committing to at this point. So it is very good to get involved, get on Ramp, to get your certifications as local or small, because those things will become important as they get closer to procurement opportunities. And then lastly, we're going to tie it up with just some more ways. This is a great opportunity that President Kang has put together for all of you. A lot of different organizations have a lot of programs similar to this, either virtual or in person. So some of the ones that we are usually involved with, participate in, the mayor has a program called Procure LA, which specifically is targeted towards small businesses and getting you involved with this procurement process. It is managed by one of our business source centers, which is PACE, the Pacific Asian Consortium in Employment. It offers a lot of different things, not just educational classes, but help with filling out applications, help with gathering paperwork. This particular business source center is Pacific Asian Consortium. So I understand this is mostly a Korean group. They do have a lot of different languages spoken at this. So if you're having trouble understanding things or just want clarity to make sure that you're reading it correctly, because it's probably going to be in English, please feel free to go in and use their services. That's what they're there for. And gathering paperwork, they can help you with all of those things. So it's a great opportunity. And then they have large events. Like if anybody went on, I think it was October 23rd, the mayor had a huge sports and entertainment summit at the convention center. It was huge. And Procure LA was one of the main groups behind that project. So It's a great group to get involved with, to get involved. They do small classes, they do big classes, they do events, they do one-on-one stuff at their office. So I highly recommend looking into this type of organization. The other ones we have, so especially for those in contracting or in like construction contractor type stuff, Merriweather and Williams is a insurance and bonding company, and they have great programs. They have just broadened up their opportunities, and they are including personal services, more like marketing or architecture or that kind of thing. So they do have some new programs for that in relation to that Procure LA project that I was talking about. But they also have their own things going on, great classes and programs to help contractors really learn how to walk through the process. So Merriweather and Williams is another great opportunity. And then us with the City of Los Angeles. So we just completed our first Small Business Academy, well, for this year, the last one for this year. We hope to have another one within this fiscal year. They are usually, oh, I went ahead of myself. This is Small Business Academy. I'll go back. Small Business Academy. It is an intimate, it's usually 20, 40, I think 50. It depends on if we're doing virtual or in person. It's at night. It's this last time we did it as an intensive course. So it was 2 classes one week and 2 classes the next week. Sometimes we do it once a week for a longer period of time. People seem to like the intensive version a little bit better because the information remains a little bit more fresh in their memory. But it's a small enclave of people that come together and hear presentations and get to talk to people from all over doing different things. So our last one, we had representatives from the mayor's office, LA 28. We had our own city employees talking about Office of Finance, tax, ramp, certification, all the various things that we do. We also had some of our partners. We have a coalition of Olympic cities. So some of them came in and talked. The county talked. We had the Los Angeles Sports and Entertainment Commission come in and talk about FIFA and the Super Bowl. So it's similar to this, but it's a lot more intense, and you get a lot of time with those people because it's over several nights. And then Accessing LA is a series of events that we do. What they look like has changed a little bit, but they generally focus on the same type of information and sometimes have interactive qualities. And occasionally we do, what's it called? Matchmaking, where you get a little bit of time with different prime contractors and subcontractors. They change, they're not all the same, but they have similar information, but it's a larger presentation and a more public group. So it's similar to what we present in Small Business Academy, but not as intimate and one-on-one. So that pretty much ties up, I think, our presentation. If anybody has questions, we'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you, Melissa and Teresa. 오늘 정보가 상당히 많았는데요. 제가 한 가지 강조하고 싶은 부분은 이걸 처음 들으신 분들은 첫 단계는 Ramp LA라는 웹사이트 들어가시는 겁니다. Melissa, can you go to Ramp LA
Go to
slide?
Ramp LA?
Ramp LA? Any of the slides that have Ramp LA. 그래서 아직 등록을 안 하신 분들은요, 램프 LA로 가시면 일단 본인이 운영하시고 계시는 회사나 컴퍼니를 등록하시고, 그 다음에 멜리사하고 테레사가 언급한 이제 소수계 마이너리티 레지스트레이션을 등록하시고, 또 여성이 운영하시는 회사는 또 그러한 포인트를 더 받기 때문에 그러한 것을 다 등록하시고, 여기 지금 들어가 보시면 앞으로 다가오는 뭐 올림픽, 뭐 월드컵이나 다양한 기회가 상당히 많이 있습니다. 그래서 제가 한 가지 Melissa, you want to take down the slide really quick?
Take it down?
Yes. I'm going to show one thing really quick.
Okay.
제가 한 가지 이제 성공 사례를 말씀드리자면 I'm going to talk about one success story. LAX 인근에 저희가 LAX Transit Center라는 곳을 여름에 오픈을 하였습니다. 그래서 앞으로는 이제 지하철이나 이제 교통수단으로 이제 LAX 공항이 연결이 됐는데요. 여기 트랜sit 센터에 들어가시는 이제 문 보이시죠? 입구. 이걸 설치한 회사는 대한민국 S 스트릿이라는 회사입니다. 그래서 조달 사업에 참여를 해서 당당하게 이제 이 컨트랙을 따서 메트로 컨트랙을 받아서 이 LAX 트랜sit 센터에서 들어가는 이 문, 아마 서울 자주 가시는 분들은 상당히 서울에서도 많이 보시는데 서울처럼 이제 클릭해서 들어가는 이런 시스템을 S 스트릿이라는 대한민국 회사가 이제 성공적으로 이제 받아서 로스앤젤레스에 있는 지하철 엔트런스를 대다수 이제 인스톨하게 되었습니다. 그래서 이러한 성공 사례가 있고요. 이거는 좀 빅 스케일로 보시면 되고 본인 여기 들어와 계신 여러 다양한 비즈니스가 충분히 참여할 수 있는 분야가 상당히 넓고 앞으로 기회가 많기 때문에 그동안 이제 정부 조달 사업에 좀 관심이 있거나 아니면 좀 앞으로 좀 참여하시고 싶다면 참여하시면 감사하겠습니다. 이제부터 Q&A 시간을 잠깐 하겠는데요. Janet Burt, we'll start with you.
For the great presentation today. The question, question 하고 싶은 거는 오늘 참석한 회사들이 다 foreign company affiliate branch, office로 여기에서 미국에서 지금, operation 하고 있는데, 램프 벤더로 사인업이 가능한지, 오너십이 대체적으로 Korean, national인데, 그거에 관한 것 좀 clarification 좀 주세요.
So, Melissa, the question is some of the folks that are participating, their real headquarter is Korea, but then they have subsidiaries here in Los Angeles. Can those company participate as well because they have a branch office here?
Anybody can have an account on Ramp, and anyone can bid on opportunities. It's a little different for certification. You don't need a certification to bid. It gives you some preference depending on what the contract is. But anybody is welcome on there. There are foreign-based companies on Ramp currently. As far as having a subsidiary here, we would have to go back. I don't know offhand. I would have to go look at the lingo language in the ordinance as far as the relationship. It could get difficult because we would need payroll records. We would need, especially if what you're doing is saying that if you're basing the local on where the employees are working, we have to have the payroll records to show that they're working there, that it's billing there. We also need tax records sometimes, and then we get into translation issues, and businesses are set up differently. So I don't know exactly about that. I would have to do some research myself. We don't get that request very often. It is possible for companies that are elsewhere in the States to have a subsidiary that could be eligible. But I would have to do some research on a foreign company and what we would need to do and how that paperwork would line up. But you are absolutely welcome to be on Ramp and to bid on city opportunities.
So Janet,
Yeah, majority of the Korean companies are tax-paying companies here, with the
they're all
W-2
eligible.
employee.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
perfect.
It just matters because the language says it has to be headquartered here. And so it just matters how the business is structured. So it would have to be taken on a case-by-case basis, I guess.
그래서 여기 참석하신 일부 참석자분들은 이제 본사는 서울이지만 여기에 이제 지사로 있는데 여기 지사로 등록하셔서 충분히 참여를 하실 수 있고요. 여기서 기존에 이제 텍스나 이런 거를 다 내시기 때문에 충분히 가능하기 때문에 램프 LA로 들어가셔서 먼저 등록하시는 것이 첫 번째 절차라고 저희가 보고 있습니다. 혹시 추가로 질문 있으시면 뭐 채트나 아니면 unmute 해서 질문해 주시면 저희가 차례대로 하겠습니다. If you have any other questions, please ask via chat or unmute yourself, and then we're happy to answer.
Hi, my name is Jaerin from SBS. We are a Korean language TV news station, but we have branch here in LA City. Is it okay if I get a contact for Melissa, and could we ask details about our case?
Sure. It's my name, Melissa melissa.savage@lacity.org, just as my name is spelled on the frame.
Perfect. I'll email you. Thank you.
혹시 추가 질문 있으신가요? Janet?
Uh, so I want to know about sourcing. As you know, many of the Korean companies may not fall into the categories that you guys presented, right? However, there's some, maybe innovative solution that a Korean company wants to propose to LA Olympic, FIFA. Is that allowed? And how do we go about doing, sourcing, if so?
Well, the city of Los Angeles does not control FIFA or LA28's contracting or negotiating rules. We're simply working with them to try to encourage the use of US and especially Los Angeles-based businesses. So I can't speak to, LA28 is a nonprofit organization. I worked in the nonprofit sector before I came to the city. They have their own rules and regulations. You can reach out to them independently if you want to. I'm just telling you what we as the city have worked out with them as far as how they're procuring items. They will be making their own decisions.
And Melissa, we're going to plan a separate LA28 session. So
Okay, that's a great question for them.
Yeah.
We have certain, the city of Los Angeles is hosting, the city of Los Angeles is, I think somewhat financially responsible for some, for some aspects of things. So we want to encourage them to use LA City Business to bring as much business into the city, into small businesses as much as we can, but we don't control them. And like I said, they're committing 75 and 25. So they do have quite a bit of money that is not going to be, they don't have to be responsible for using LA businesses. So they will have other opportunities, I'm sure, for things. But you would definitely need to talk to them.
네, 저희가 내년에는 따로 이제 올림픽은 아직 시간이 조금 있기 때문에 따로 저희가 세미나를 따로 준비할 거고요. 그래서 오늘은 이렇게 전체적인 오버뷰를 저희가 이제 기타 회원분들에게 제공을 해드리고 싶었고요. 다음에는 조금 더 이제 자세하게 더 하도록 하겠습니다. 그리고 동시 통역도 저희가 준비하고 있기 때문에 이제 내년 세미나에서는 그러한 점들을 조금 더 강화시켜서 조금 더 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 그리고 오늘 이제 전체적인 오버뷰에서 막 디테일하게는 나오진 않았지만 정말 LA시에도 제가 공공사업위원회에 있으면서 다양한 컨트랙을 저희가 어프로브를 하는데 한국에서 미국보다 좀 잘하는 산업들이 상당히 많이 있습니다. 그 중에서 이제 뭐 선박, 뭐 배를 만들다든지 이런 것들도 사실 LA시에서 상당히 많은 컨트랙을 내는데 이렇게 미국 내에서 기업들이 그러한 종사하는 기업들이 많이 없기 때문에 좀 어려움을 겪고 있는 부분도 많습니다. 그렇기 때문에 여러분들이 이제 램프에 가셔서 좀 숙제를 하셔서 좀 공부를 하시고 거기에 어떠한 기회가 있는지 그리고 앞으로는 어떠한 기회가 들어오는지 이러한 부분을 좀 숙지하시고 저희한테 팔로우업 하시면 저희가 도움을 드리도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 오늘은 여기서 마무리하도록 하겠습니다. So Melissa and Teresa will wrap up here. Thank you so much for coming. 그리고 오늘 기타 임원진 분들께 다시 한번 감사드리겠습니다. 오늘 참석해 주셔서 대단히 감사합니다.